So, how to make your business thrive in 2024? New year, new you. And how can you utilize that by getting your life back and helping grow the business? Not easy to do, but we've got some ways to do so. So that's what we're here to talk about today, utilizing expertly trained VAs to really make your business thrive and have a personal impact on your life. And we'll talk about how. A little bit of background about myself. I'm not just some Yahoo that, fell out of the sky. I've got about 10 years experience. And so not everyone here is in the wedding and event industry. Many people are, but these principles apply to any small business, whether you're a wedding and event vendor, you're a restaurant owner. The fundamentals of running the business really are the same. So if you're not in the industry, that's okay. But this is going to be a little bit more tailored to the wedding and event industry, which I spent 10 years on. I spent 10 years in that business. I left it for 10 years. I'm kind of coming back. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got a couple different businesses that I own or run within. Back in, I think it was 2014, I left a company called Continental. We were another about $100 million company, but I oversaw about $50 million worth of weddings and events in a variety of brands. We had 2 major catering companies, 8 brands, 8 different venues within the portfolio of our managed brands. And we did about 1,000 events a year. So over that time period, I really became an expert in sales, in marketing, and administrative work to really grow those businesses. We hired, experts like Alan Berg or Chris Evans or whomever it may be. But having a substantially sized company enabled us to really learn the best and the brightest techniques on how to grow those businesses. So that was my experience a decade ago. Since then, I've started a new company called TechLock, where I've built we're a new computer accessory manufacturer. We've got a patent, a new product. I started with 1 VA, and now I have 6 VAs that run that business for me. So I started off as a client to SaaS, became so enamored with the business that I became a part owner a couple of years ago, and the rest is history. So one of the big things that we made as a business was to really become the primary VA company tailored to the wedding and event industry by leveraging my experience and knowledge. And that's kind of how we got to where we're at today. So I've been in the industry for a decade. Is this you? I can't see everybody on the screen right now, but I'm guessing everyone's raising their hand. You never have enough hours in the day between emails, client calls, your employee didn't show up. You got tax forms to fill out, you got billable, whatever it may be. In every business, every leader or owner is always faced with this scenario. There's never enough hours in the day to get things done. And that leads to the problem. Often people are not hiring. You're short-staffed in general. It's very hard to get good talent that's going to stick with you in the long haul. We've got a huge employee turnover problem in the U.S. We have a general problem in the U.S. that I faced it. In fact, my story was a couple of years ago, I had 3 administrative and social media assistants quit on me. I mean, I'd hire one, they would quit. I'd hire another one, they'd quit. And I was paying them $20 to $30 an hour on a full or part-time basis. And I just couldn't get someone to really stick. And I think I'm a normal, pretty fair guy. But the labor climate, especially going through COVID and now after COVID, it's just a tough environment we're in the U.S. We've got poor entitled attitudes. There's still lack of true commitment, leading to turnover rates that are astronomically high. There's a lack of follow through, and the cost of people is just insanely expensive. So all these factors combined made me, about 2 years ago, look to an alternative solution. And that's how I found SaaS to run my businesses. So, one thing you have to think about is not only you've got a labor challenge to help grow your business, but, when you have staff challenges or you are staff shorted, you end up inserting yourself into things that maybe aren't the best at what you do. In my experience in the wedding and event industry, you've got people that are great bakers, great photographers, they're great venue managers, they're great they're great at a lot of things. But what happens is, you know, if you're a phenomenal photographer, how much of your time is not doing photography? My guess is it's well over 50%. You've got to do your social media. You've got to send invoices out to clients. You got to do client scoping calls. You got to do this. You got to do blah, 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 blah. So the fundamental thing here is if you can stay in your zone of genius and just do great work that exceeds clients' expectations, your business will flourish. And oftentimes business owners get sucked into the dark hole of having to do multiple things that they don't like and they're really not good at, and it takes you out of your zone of genius. So I can't stress that point enough from a philosophical way of thinking and how do you run your business to delegate things that other people can do and invest more time into your area of specialization, which will result in a higher business quality and outcome for your company long term. In addition to that, when you're able to stay in that zone of genius and just do your cake baking or your wedding planning, and you can kind of eliminate or delegate a lot of that other responsibility, we found that our clients are happier and more fulfilled at work. The stress gets reduced by having to do 20 things in a day when you now only have to do 3 or 4. It fosters better culture, a happier, when you're the boss and you're happier, there's a ripple effect to your employees. It's a more positive work environment. The business has more focus and vitality. And at the end, again, as I said earlier, the profitability and growth will happen organically because you're doing what you're great at. And the rest kind of follows suit from that. If you look at yourself as an owner, everyone has 24 hours in the day. No matter who you are in the world, that's the one constant. You could be Bill Gates, you could be, Joe Schmo plumber. It doesn't matter. Everyone's got the same hours in the day. And how do you spend that time? So I have often seen in the wedding, especially in the wedding and event industry, but all small business owners just feel like I've got to do everything. I can't count on people. I want it done my way. I don't trust people, or I just want to make sure I do it myself to save the money, which you got to kind of, if you're going to grow your business, you got to think bigger. It doesn't make any sense at all to do something where you could be spending, $7, $8, $9 an hour to pay somebody to do a job. If they can do that job and you can spend your time on doing, what really makes an impact or strategic initiatives or working with a new big client or whatever it may be. So you got to focus on where is your time most impactful in your life and in your business. And a lot of people just say, hey man, if I had somebody to do my social media, I'd get 10 hours a week and I'd go golfing with my wife, or I'd go to dinner, or I'd go on a boat, or I'd do something else, like having a happier, more fulfilled life. If you're able to master on how to delegate and focus on only the things you can do and outsourcing the rest. A lot of people, especially in the wedding and event industry, have to re-engineer your mindset when you're thinking along those terms. You're so used to doing the scheduling. You're so used to paying the bills. You're so used to doing social media. So how can I, let go and change my way of thinking? And I really had to do that as a better job as an owner myself. In TechLock, I was a kind of a one-man show. We now have 12 employees. Half of them are out of the Philippines, and really looking at job descriptions and scoping them out and looking holistically at my business. If I want to get to our sales goal, I sure as hell know that I can't be doing my social media and my video editing. I can't be paying bills. I shouldn't be setting up appointments. That's an administrative delegated job someone could do for $10 an hour. So I had to clear out all that. Let me look at my partnerships. Let me look at the big clients that we want to go after. Let me focus on retaining, setting the culture and setting goals, and to retain our key employees or grab new key people to our team. So that was how I had to rethink to get to our growth goals as a business. and always continuously improve and modify along the way. If you think about COVID in the last 5 years of our life, COVID, I think, was about a 5-year anniversary, 4-year or 5-year, maybe 4-year. 4 years ago, COVID happened. I think it was February of 2020. And it really reshaped our lives, how we do business. And the question you have to ask yourself, have you adjusted to these changes with a virtual working world? And that doesn't have to be in the Philippines, doesn't have to be in the US. It's just business has been reshaped in many ways. Some people like the office, some people like hybrid, some people work virtually. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the work from anywhere lifestyle. Those are my two businesses, and that's what we thrive on, and that's part of our culture. I find you can get great people across any area of the world. You don't have to be in Rochester, Michigan to do my social media for me. Why? I don't even see my staff most of the time. We do have some local people, but most people work remote. Are you applying those principles to how you run your business? So it's something to think about. Are you following that trend and transitioning the new business models that are available since COVID? Technology has changed in a phenomenal way. If Regine, I'm talking to, she's around the world. She can't be farther away from any of us. Crystal clear picture, great. There's no lag when she's talking. And a lot of clients talking locally think she lives in the state or locally. So the broadband technology that has come out in the last 5 years, kind of since COVID, is phenomenal, further enabling people to have better communication at almost no cost to communicate with the other side of the world. That's a new change that's really been embraced since COVID. And are your businesses taking advantage of that virtual working environment? So that's kind of it. We'll keep rolling. So as I said earlier, and guys, this is not a sales pitch for SaaS. This is just me as a guy that was running 10 years in the wedding and event industry. I started I was in cybersecurity the last 10 years or 8 years after that. And I now am back in the wedding and event industry for SaaS, as we are the exclusive provider for VAs tailored to the industry. But along the way, my TechLock business, I needed help, often like many of you people do on the call. And I hired one, then it went to two, then it went to six. And in fact, most of my whole company is going to be run out of the Philippines, the TechLock company. I also co-own with another partner, and I'm a co-owner in SaaS. So this is not a sales pitch for SaaS. This is me as an entrepreneur and a small business owner, simply sharing my stories, insights, and background coming from the industry and what's really worked well for me. And I've seen a huge impact in my life and the bottom line for our business, top line growth and bottom line growth for the business. So as I mentioned a couple of years ago, after I let go, or my third assistant social media person kind of just left me high and dry, ghosted me, said, "Oh, sorry, I found another job." Great, got you up to speed and trained. After 3 months, we were finally in our groove, and she leaves to go somewhere else. I got a cold email from SaaS that said, "Hey, Ryan, we cater to small businesses like yourself and entrepreneurs for $7 an hour. Why don't you give us a shot?" And I'm thinking, okay, I got a random email from someone out from Regine's team. $7 an hour for the work I needed seemed too good to be true. And I go, well, McDonald's is paying $15 an hour. What the hell am I going to get? I said, what I have to lose? It's a 1 month commitment, $7 an hour at 160 hours in a month. I'm not even looking at it. I'm looking at about $1,000 to get someone full time to be my assistant. And I was drowning in work. I said, let's give it a shot. And I hired Christina about 2 years ago, and since then she's still my virtual assistant. Works for me 40 hours a week. One of the best employees I've had in my life. Just phenomenal work ethic and attitude. Great willingness just to roll up our sleeves and get things done. And one little story I'll share with you about this cultural experience I went through the last couple of years as a business owner. And I've had many. Listen, I've probably had 25, 30 salespeople report to me in my life or my career when I worked at Continental in the wedding and event industry. And they were Employees, especially salespeople, can be difficult. They're demanding, they're high maintenance, they want things, they can be challenging. And great salespeople are very hard to come by. We all know that. But, I was working with Christina for about a month, and she came to me and she had almost tears in her eyes about getting a project done, which she had like a virus on her computer. And she came to me in tears like on a Monday or Tuesday. She said, Ryan, I know you wanted this big research project for me to break out all this data and download this list of names and, reformat and organize, which she's great at. I think I had her download all my LinkedIn and Facebook contacts and put their names into Excel spreadsheet, like phone, email, whatever, and organize it for a campaign we're going to run. And her laptop had a bug. She goes, we've been saving up for 6 months to buy a new laptop, my boyfriend and I, and I just don't have it yet. So I can't finish that project for you on this list, but I can do everything else. And I said, Christina, you work for me. You're full-time. You've been one of the best employees of my life. And we went on Amazon right then and there, and I bought her an $800 new Dell laptop. She bawled uncontrollably for 15 minutes saying, no one's ever done anything like this for me in my life. And boy, you want to talk about building a loyal employee, do something like that. And I'm not saying you have to do that if anyone uses a VA, but it opened my eyes to how people think and operate and work. And I think Christina will be by my side to the day I'm dead in terms of a great, trusted coworker that I can depend on because of a new laptop. I mean, such a minor thing. We're in America, a new laptop it's like breathing air. Of course I work for you. Of course you're going to give me a new phone, a new laptop, and a $2,000 office stipend or whatever it may be. So just the cultural mindset that I found as a client was just overwhelming. And you talk about dedication, willingness, the mentality to do whatever you want to, make the boss happy is something I've never experienced before in my life. So that was kind of my aha moment. Like, wow, there's really something there working with these Filipino people. And it's just been an amazing experience since then. So that was the solution I found. And, to get into how I got into this, and I'm not like 7 feet tall, guys. I'm only I think I'm 6'1". But that was me on my last trip about a year ago. They're small but mighty people. They work hard, great attitude, great work ethic, etc. But what I found the impact of my business at TechLock was we had better top line growth because I was able to set more appointments. I'd have more time for our salespeople to do things that only you could do. I want salespeople on the phone all day or in person all day, taking meetings with new clients. I don't want them booking the meetings. I don't want them writing up quotes. I don't want them doing social media. I don't even want them checking their emails. Like, I just want them closing. I want them doing appointments and closing. And that mentality enabled us to have better top line growth. Well, because of the rate and better bottom line profitability, because our rates start at $7 an hour and they do go up to $12.85 an hour, depending on the level of work you want. You want someone a little younger out of school to do social media or some basic stuff. The $7 an hour works, and then it can go up if you want someone more premium on the sales side of things. So, but I don't care, 12, 7, it doesn't matter. You ain't paying anybody here in the U.S. those rates to do good quality value work for your business. So we ended up having much better line profitability. And the result for me was I was happier. I was less stressed. I was able to spend more time with my wife. I've got 2 little kids. So that was the impact to my business and my life that I found through my SaaS journey the last couple of years. If you have interest in kind of emulating what I did as a business owner, this is how I got there. SaaS provided top tier virtual staffing at a rate of around $2,000 a month. And again, that was kind of a blend of the $7 or $9 an hour rate to the premium rate. Again, that's a flat cost. There's no taxes. There's no vacation time. There's no health benefit. Like, that is a flat rate. So you calculate $2,000 a month for a top tier great employee in the Philippines to the US, the cost factor is about 3 or 4 to 1 in terms of what your savings. We were able to apply my 10 years of experience of proven sales and marketing methodology that I learned at Continental, doing 1,000 events a year and it being a very big, robust wedding and event company. So that's kind of how, I took that knowledge, I baked that into our training program for our VAs, and that's how we're becoming a best-in-class VA company that's tailored to the wedding and event industry. And we also we also work with many other non-wedding and event companies, as I mentioned, restaurant owners, marketing agencies, whatever it may be. We just have bottled up my knowledge and experience to provide this best-in-class service offering, because I was able to take all the things I learned from Alan Berg and other industry consultants and just had done it for 10 years and apply it to the VAs. So our VAs now, if anyone here were to hire somebody in a virtual staff, whether it's sales, social media, whatever it may be, they're going to come kind of pre-kitted and trained with my industry experience. So that's a true differentiator no one else has in the business or in the industry and VAs. The best of both worlds, as being a small business owner myself, you're always worried about lawsuits, saying the wrong thing, dropping an F-bomb when it shouldn't be dropped or whatever it may be. One of the things I love about working with an outsourced VA company like SAS, where I'm the customer, you don't have any HR issues. There's no legal risk. I don't have to go out and recruit people. We act as our own internal recruiters at SAS to go find you people. We'll get a scope of work. I know I'm working with Regine right now to hire a new social media person for TechLock. She gets the job description, the scope of work I need, and she goes out and spends 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it takes to find that right person and match make me. I don't have to do any of that match. Finding people is so time consuming. That's done for me. Great can-do attitude. There's no employee friction. If I tell Christina, I need you to make 100 cold calls that day and go find me some resource or go do whatever. Yes, boss, no problem. Like the fact that I can just tell people to do something without any pushback is so valuable, working with so many somewhat difficult salespeople over my 10-year period here in the States. No taxes or payroll headaches you got to worry about. And it's month to month. That's a huge value to the wedding and event industry. You guys know that you're seasonal, or you could be a restaurant or in the seasonality business, that you don't have to make a year-long commitment like you would or a long-term commitment for an employee. It can be month to month. So in the summer, when we're swamped, I don't have enough time to do this. I can hire somebody for 4 months, or I can hire somebody in as you slow down and later in the fall and the early winter, you don't have that payroll running on your books, and then you can amp it up again when you get busy again. So it's a month-to-month contract. It is perfectly suited for the event industry. So guys, that's kind of my story in a nutshell. I'm a little under 30 minutes. We got about 5 minutes left for Q&A, and I'll open it up the floor for anybody that wants to. If you want to go on off mute, I think we've got about 20 people in the room. I'm happy to answer any questions. Doesn't mean if you're from the industry or not. Regina and I can answer anything you'd like to know the questions about. Cindy, you got a question there? I think, yeah, go ahead.
I do. Thank you. We had a nice conversation with Regina, and I figure you're kind of like a broker, like we're a broker for entertainment in regards to staffing. How is your training? What does that entail? I know Regina had mentioned you send a book out and all that good stuff. So if we did decide to do something on social media, where we'd like to have it in the wedding industry, I'm still struggling with that. I kind of feel like it's most of the stuff that, you say we can do sales and have your team talk to people. I'm still struggling with that, but I think a lot of the stuff that you offer is kind of task driven. And social media might be a good way. How do they get trained to represent our brand?
Sure. Well, on the training side, our staff, before they come on board, one, we try to find people with, we will find people that are experienced in what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a social media person, we're going to go out and find somebody with 3, 5, 10 years experience of social media experience. Now, that doesn't mean they've worked in the wedding and event industry on social media, but if they've got social media experience, we'd say, Cindy, this person has 5 years experience doing all sorts of social media. You can see a sample of their work. When they come on board, they're going to be part of a 20-hour training program. Part of that is training specifically on social media within the wedding and event industry. So that was kind of part of the program that we've developed and built using my experience. In fact, I hired one of our former sales and marketing people from Continental, Melanie, who's phenomenal. And she wrote like a training module program. So we have in-person training, we have our in-depth training, and we have these different training modules that talk about social media in the wedding and event industry specific. But I want to be really clear to you and everybody else. And I've been a customer, I've been a SaaS customer. I've seen it both ways. The people that have a great result from a VA, you have to treat them just like they're an employee that lives down the street from you. Identical. They need to so you will have to train them. We're not going to sugarcoat and say, we're just going to drop you in and they're going to know everything about your brand. Now they're going to know good fundamentals of social media. They're going to know good graphics, good videos, good design, when to post. They're going to research competition. They're going to do a lot of that, but they need to acclimate to your brand. So you'll have to train them. This is the clientele we want. We're a high-end wedding planning company, or we're a high-end this, or we're a medium end, or we're a low end. We're a mass marketer. We'll do a lot of proms. We're like the cheapest DJ company in town. And here's our brand. And this is how so you kind of have to give them that vision and train them about your business and your brand. So I tell everybody, treat VAs like they're an extension of your team. Just like if you were to onboard somebody in your local state or city and you meet with them or whatever it may be once a week, or you have a weekly call. Same with VAs. They just live really far away. But you have to take that time up front to train them on your brand and give them exact guidance of what you want them to be doing.
And I think my second question is like this, what's our 13-hour difference in Philippine time from the States?
Yep.
And is that just not our problem? They can work around when we want to.
They're vampires. They're vampires. Regine is, it's 12:30 Regine's time, and Mishi's on as well. I mean, so yes, they'll work on US time. I have 6 VAs for my other business. Now, it really depends on the business and what you want them to do. If it's social media, or if it's project research, or if it's doing something and you don't need it to be during your time, that's up to you. If they can work at night doing whatever you want, like, that's fine. Most businesses like myself have VAs working from maybe 6 a.m. I start work at 8 a.m. So they're starting about 2 hours before me. And then they'll be done by, 2 or 3 o'clock, which is an 8-hour day. So they'll put in an 8-hour day. Most of my day has crossover with the VA, Christina especially. So we communicate emails back and forth most of the time during my time. And then we'll also have a check-in call I have calls about every other day with my VAs, or once every 3 days, about project lists, what you have going on, calendars, etc. So long story short, Cindy, they can work on whatever time you'd like.
Thank you.
Other questions? Okay. Well, thank you all for joining. I have a slide on my contact information. So if you'd like to take a screenshot of me, so a screenshot of that, my contact information, email me, call me. I do a lot of social media content about how I have a brand called the $7 an hour entrepreneur. I'm very passionate about enabling small businesses in any manner, but specifically in how to leverage low-cost virtual staffing to help your life and grow your business. I've done it myself. I'm a walking billboard for it. So I have a lot of tips and content, and I will share stories all the time about how I used the VA and it saved me $20,000 on a project. I mean, literally the story right now is one of my VAs found a really great consultant in the Philippines to do our CRM, like our HubSpot, customer relationship management software. I got a quote in the US to do that project for $300 an hour. I found somebody, an outsourced consultant, to do it in the Philippines for $15 an hour. And I have a zillion stories
You
like
froze.
that.
You just froze.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, for just a sec.
How about now?
Good.
Okay. So I share my content through my social channels about ways like that I've saved tens of thousands of dollars in my other business, TechLock, by leveraging VAs. That's one example of that. So if you get creative, you think different, it really can make a big impact to your business. So if there's no other questions, have a great day. Enjoy your weekend and take care. Thank you.